What's up, guys? It's your boy G, and today we're going to talk about the top 5 mistakes that most photographers tend to make and how to fix it. Let's go. All right, guys, so the first thing I'm going to talk about today is not a problem, and I hate to have it on here. I'm not talking down to anybody this applies to because, trust me, I've done it. I did it for a while too as well. You know what I'm saying? But the first thing I have to put on here is shooting in auto mode, and I'm not going to get super technical about it. The only thing I'm going to say is that it kind of holds back your creativity. And you may be asking, how is that? Well, what happens is the camera settings that are being provided to you might not be applicable to the environment that you're in. And the photo that you envision in your brain, those camera settings, by them being provided to you, might not produce what you envision in your mind. Now, how do we rectify that? It's a simple fix for it. We rectify that by learning how to shoot in manual mode. Of course, you can use AP, TV, all of these other settings, and that's perfectly fine. Sometimes I do too as well, you know what I'm saying? Even now. But to truly unlock your potential and creativity to the max, I would advise that you learn how to use manual mode, which consists of shutter speed, aperture, and ISO. All right, guys, so the next mistake that most beginner photographers make is ignoring the camera's focus mode. So you may be asking, okay, so what focus modes do I need to learn? Well, I would suggest that you learn the difference between single focus modes and continuous focus modes. You would use a single focus mode for most portraits, okay? If you're shooting a portrait and the subject is not moving, the subject is standing still and looking pretty and so on and so forth, then I would advise that you use a single focus mode so that you can isolate your focal point exactly on that eye, somewhere in the face, so that you can get the sharpest image possible. Now, if your subject is moving, like you're shooting sports, you have a child that's running around the field, or you're shooting a moving car, at that point, I would suggest that you use a continual focus mode. So at that point, you can keep your focal point on that subject while it moves, and you will produce sharp and crisp images while that subject moves. All right, guys, so the third thing I want to talk to you about, and yes, I've made this mistake as well. So currently I'm 3 for 3. So don't feel alone right now. I've made the mistake as well. But the next thing I want to talk about is making bad lighting choices. Lighting environments can make or break your image. I'm going to be honest with you guys. If you shoot in natural light, you need to choose the best and most appropriate time of day for you to capture the image that you are trying to capture. I'm going to tell you like this. Down here in Louisiana, 12 o'clock on a sunny day, man, the sun is blaring. And I'm telling you now, the shadows can get real dark and they get real deep depending on where you're standing at. So I'm going to tell you like this. If you must shoot midday, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, find a place with shade. But you don't want to find a spot where the shade is too dark. You don't want to put your subject all the way back. I'm giving you game right now. This free game I'm giving you now, so soak it up and listen, you heard? You don't want to put your subject all the way back in the shade. What you want to do is you want to bring them as close to the shade and light as possible, if that makes any sense. So that way they'll have a covering. It'll be almost like you use the scrim when shooting them, but you'll have enough light and they won't be so dark to whereas you have to up your exposure in post, right? Now, another way to alleviate this is shooting in golden hour. If you're available. Now, mind you, golden hour comes 2 times in a day. So it comes in the morning and it comes in the afternoon, evening time. So with that being said, choose one of these things. And look, if you don't want to do that, or if you can't do it, you can always bring in your own light, introduce your own light, bring a strobe, bring a LED, bring the proper modifier so that you can use it in the right way. And I'm going to tell you another tip too. Once you learn how to use off-camera flash, strobes, or LEDs properly, you can make your image look like a natural light photo while you use a strobe. So don't let that hold you back from using strobes, guys, okay? All right, guys, so the next thing I want to talk about, and yes, I've made this mistake as well. I'm 4 for 4 right now. But the next thing I want to talk about is not paying attention to your composition. What do I mean? Let me tell you. Now, putting your subject in the dead center of every shot is a no-no because you want to have creative looks. You want to have creative poses. You want to have creative shots. So look, learn the rule of thirds, okay? Once you learn how to place your subject in the different places based off the rule of thirds, Once you understand that, and once you start doing it, then at that point in time, you'll understand how to break that rule, and you can truly start being creative, right? Another thing is too, sometimes you want your subject to pop out of the background. So if you have a lens where the aperture can go low, use that lower aperture to blur out the background so that you can make sure that your subject stays and pops out of every photo. And look, don't be afraid to be creative, guys. You know what I'm saying? Shoot from different vantage points. That'll help you out too as well. All right, guys, so the next thing I'm going to talk about, and yes, I've made this mistake as well. I'm currently 5 for 5. Is over editing photos. I have a rule, I have a saying. Less is best and leave the rest. I'm going to say it a little bit faster for those in the back there. Less is best and leave the rest. I'm going to say it one more time. Less is best and leave the rest. Look, y'all, we're not going for the plastic skin, okay? But you have to start somewhere. But just because you can drag that slider up doesn't mean you should, okay? Take your time. Just focus on, when you're starting out, focus on your color correction. Focus on your white balance. Focus on getting all of that straight, and then gradually work your way into the skin. And look, I'm going to tell you like this. Make the client look as natural as possible. Because at the end of the day, are they really paying you for high-end retouching anyway? Probably not. So, again, color correction, as natural as possible, and you can use a preset, but look, I'm going to tell you something about presets, guys. It's just a starting point, okay? Now, I understand the concept of use what you have until you can get to the place where you want to be. I understand that. Trust me, I did that, right? But I'm trying to help you out now. Take the time out. Take the proper time out to learn how to correctly edit a photo, and watch. It's going to take your bookings to a whole nother level. But remember, I can't stress it enough. Less is best and leave the rest. Well, with that being said, guys, I appreciate you tuning in again. Leave a comment below. Let me know what you thought about the video. Let me know what you want to hear about again, because here I'm all about each one, teach one, you heard? So with that being said, don't forget to follow, like, subscribe, do whatever you need to do wherever you're watching this at. Stay prayed up, keep working, keep hustling, keep grinding, keep on shooting. And with that being said, holla at your boy.